Hi students, again I am going to revise one more chapter in this section. Yes, exactly. I am going to start in geography second chapter. Yes, where you are living? Yes, you are living on the land. Okay, if you have trusty, what you want to drink? Water. How can you enjoy with uh, nature? Yes, you will feel very well. Okay, right. Today I am going to teach with you about land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife. What you are going to learn, students? Land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife. In this chapter, episode, land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife, you are going to learn entirely different okay, important points you are going to learn. Why? Because I am revising for the midterm exam. Don't miss it. You must have to watch up to last. Okay, students, listen carefully. Okay, first you are going to learn now land. Already you have learned more details about the land. Okay, just I am going to explain only brief important points you must have to keep in your mind. A land which is there 30% habitat and 70% sparsely populated. Okay, 30% especially what we may observe. Yes, exactly. Habitated. What is habitated? Habitat means area which is occupied by the river or plains. Habitat means which area is occupied by the rivers and plains. That area especially you may find river valleys and as well as you may find plain areas. But 70% spread by the populated means you may observe here. Okay, rugged topography and steep slopes, low laying areas, deserts, thick forest areas you may find. In 70% of the land you may observe, listen carefully, rugged topography, steep slopes, uh, are low laying areas and deserts and thick forest. Okay, the land which is useful to us. Yes, next studying about use of land or land use. The land which is useful for the different purpose. Really, it is useful to us different purpose. Yes, exactly. Land is more useful to us for different purpose. You may observe. Okay, listen carefully. Land may useful for the agriculture. Yes, and it is useful for the forestry, useful for the mining, useful for the housing, useful for the road, it is useful for the industries. Land used for the agriculture, forestry, mining, housing, roads, and industries. Okay, we can cultivate different crops. That is known as we call agriculture. Okay, forest product also most important useful to us. That's why forestry also most helpful to us. Why? Because it is giving us good air, not environment. It may reduce the pollution. Mining, which are the minerals are coming to us for the using for different purpose. Okay, the most minerals which are giving us different purpose, and not only that we may develop our technology and houses. You may observe we may build different type of the houses, and buildings also giving us entirely different purpose. Some buildings for the school, some building for the office purpose, some buildings for the shelter, some buildings for the okay travelers etc. You may observe. And roads also you may know from one place to another place. If you want to travel, it is very easy to travel. Without roads can you travel? It is very difficult to travel. You can't okay go easier than the road. So that's why roads must useful to you. That's why you must have to need roads also. And industries, the industries which are the manufacturing some goods to us. That's why industries also need for this all different purpose. What need? Land need. That's why land use is most important, student. You must have to learn. And next heading, factors affecting land use. Factor affecting land use. Okay, you may know important two factors, especially physical factors and human factors. What are the factors affecting land use? Here two factors you may observe. One is physical factors, and one more is human factors. Physical factor, for example, relief, soil, climate, minerals, water. What are the physical factors? Relief, soil, climate, minerals, water. But human factor, especially population and technology. Human factors only population and technology. But physical factors are relief, soil, climate, minerals and water. So these are the factors affecting land use. Okay, land resource. Land resource. Listen carefully here. How land resource you may know. Land resource here, especially two you may observe. One is degradation, means okay, wearing away. Next conservation, preserving. Okay, degradation, growing population and increasing demand, and large scale destruction of forest. If people want to live some particular areas, they are okay cutting forests or and digging the some land area, as well as they are destroying some mountain areas, etc. So it is coming under the degradation. So why? Because they want to increase that area. So you may observe it is coming the degradation. But conservation, we have to conserve our land now. Yes, that's why what we have to do, afforestation. Afforestation means we have to do plantation. We have to try to grow the more plants. Why? Because if you cut more area, that is coming under the forestation. So that's why people may not get good climate conditions. Why? Because pollution spread. If is there afforestation means if you grow more trees, then environment may appear is very good. Why? Because environment may reduce the pollution. And next land reclamation and restricted use of the chemical pesticides and fertilizers. We must have to stop using of the chemical pesticides and fertilizers, so that also may reduce the soil pollution. And checks on overgrades. Every time we have to see, these are the main conservation of the land resources. What are the main conservation of the land resource? Yes, exactly. Afforestation, land reclamation, restricted use of the chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and checks on overgrade. But degradation means, yes, growing population and increasing demand and large scale destruction of the forest. Okay, student. Next, you must have to revise. You must have to keep with you your textbook. Then it is easy to do revision. Okay, students must have to watch even sometime textbook also. What I am saying with you, what are the important points I am teaching with you, you must have to keep with you. Okay, soil profile. Okay, how soil is there. Now main heading about soil. Already now you learn na. I have revised about land. Now next in the land only the soil, especially you may see entirely different okay layers or profiles. Okay, top soil with human and vegetation. We may observed. Topsoil. On the soil, you may observe human beings are living in entirely different areas, and vegetation also you may find. And subsoils with sand and salt and clay you may observe in some areas. Sand which is there here. That area we are calling deserts. Okay, salt areas especially you may observe ocean areas, and clay also you may observe entirely different, isn't it or not? Yes, it is. Not only that, weathered rock material, next parent rock, these all are coming under the soil profile. What are the soil profile? Topsoil with women and vegetation, subsoil with sand, salt and clay, weathered rock material, parent rocks. Next heading, factors of soil formation. Next heading, factors of soil formation. Listen carefully. I am saying for you good understanding only more headings, and I have prepared like this revision plan. You must have to listen carefully and watch carefully and understand and learn also. Very good. Next one, factors of soil formation. Okay, first one, parent rock, relief, flora and fauna, time, climate. These all are coming factors of soil formation. What is parent rock? Okay, listen carefully. Determines color, texture, chemical properties of mineral, content and permeability. These all are about showing or knowing parent rock. Relief, altitude and slope determine accumulation of a soil. Through the relief you may observe altitude and slope area and determine accumulated of the soil. Not only that, student, listen carefully. And flora and fauna. Okay, here you may observe. Okay, after that the rate of the human formation. Flora and fauna means vegetation and wildlife. Here you may observe. Not only that, time determines thickness of the soil profile. You may observe for the time the soil entirely changing. That's why determine thickness of the soil profile. For that it will take maybe some little time. Okay, na student? Okay, that's why. Listen carefully. And next, climate. Okay, how you may observe? Yes, temperature, rainfall influence, rate of the weathering and omens. Temperature, rainfall influence, rate of the weathering and the omens. You may observe, student. Listen carefully. These all things are the factors of the soil formation. Next heading, soils in India. In our India, which soils are there? What are the important soils are there in our India? Listen carefully. In our India, alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, literate soil, desert soil, mountain soil. Which soils are there in our India? Yes, alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, literate soil, desert soil and mountain soil. This different type of the soils are there in our India. This is most important question, should be keep in our mind, student. Listen carefully and learn about different soils which are there in our India. What are the important soils are there in our India? You must have to keep in your mind and learn. Next heading, Degradation and conservation of the soil. Degradation and conservation of the soil. Here you may observe entirely two reasons for the degradation and conservation methods. Degradation. Well, listen carefully. One, deforestation. Overgrazing, pesticides and fertilizers, rainwash, landslides, floods. See, listen carefully here. Degradation and conservation of the soil. Degradation means how land is or soil is degrading because deforestation. Somebody are cutting the trees. That's so deforestation is happening now. So land is soil is destroyed and overgrazes and many members are using fertilizer, so soil pollution is happening. Rain is falling and you may observe rain erosion is happening and landslides and floods. Through the floods also and our soil is destroying, you may observe. Next for that you must have to do conservation methods. What are the conservation method? What is the conservation of soil? Mulching and contour barriers, rock dam, terrace farming, intercropping, contour plumbing, shelter belts. If you do like this all things, if you may conserve our soil, what you have to do? Mulching, contour barrier, rock dam, terrace farming, intercropping, counter plowing, shelter belts. Yes, very good, student. Now you have learned up to now you have learned about land and soil. More details in this revision class. Not only that, next heading, water. Listen carefully about water. Water covers 3/4 of the earth surface. Approximately, you may know 71% water is available on the earth. Okay, right, very good. Ocean water is saline water. Ocean water is a saline water, not it for the human consumption. It is not useful for the human beings. Fresh water only available 2.7%, which occur as ice and seeds and glaciers. Only 1% fresh water fit for the human use. Found as groundwater, as surface water in the rivers and lakes and water vapors in a temperature. This 1% also is there in underground. It is there in some rivers. It is there in lakes or it is evaporating also. You may observe that water cycle purpose. Water is in a constant motion through the process of the evaporation, conditions and precipitation, the water cycle. So you may observe about water. How much water is there? Yes, very good. Water covers 3/4 of the earth surface. Water is there. Especially more percent saline water you may observe. Only fresh water 2.7. In that also only 1% is available to the human being. Students. Next, listen carefully. Uses, problems and conservation of water resource. For that you must have to do uses. Water we may use for the agricultural purpose, industries and irrigation and domestic purpose. And some problems also is happening. Shortage due to the urbanization, demand for the food and cash crops, and rising the standard for the living, and pollution, water pollution happening, and we must have to do for that conservation. Next heading, you are now learning natural vegetation and wildlife. Natural vegetation, listen carefully here, too important. Exist in the biosphere where living beings are the depending on each other. The life supporting system is known as a ecosystem. Here you observed vegetation and wildlife. Vegetation, you may observe entirely different type of the forest, different type of the areas, papers, vegetation you may observe. And wildlife, different type of the animals, birds, insects, aquatic life, etc. are there. Okay, right, very good. Next heading, distribution of the natural vegetation. Okay, area with heavy rain and area with moderate rain and area with dry area with cloud areas. In that places entirely different grasslands, different vegetations you may observe, student. Not only that, in this conclusion, listen carefully. Classification of the forestry. There are two types of the forestry may observe, especially green forests and deciduous forests. And not only that, that are you may observe tropical and temperate places. This forests you may observe. Tropical evergreen forests and temperate evergreen forest, tropical evergreen deciduous and temperate evergreen deciduous. Next, so that's why conserve of natural vegetation and wildlife. So we need to conserve again. Why? Because if you reduce the forest, we may face several problems. For the conserving, okay, forest fire, if I happen, you must have to stop that one. Okay, need to conserve these all things. Okay, increase in population, and then we have to decrease that also. And deforestation we have to stop. Growing of crops in that forest area we have to stop, and to protect the ecosystem, and poaching and landslides. Okay, some methods conserving you must have to listen carefully, and then we can conclude. Now for that we have to do national parks arrange, and wildlife sanctuaries we have to keep, and biospheres reserve we have to arrange, and awareness programs we have to give to the society, awareness camps for the school children also, a ban on cutting of the trees we have to do, and international conservation, which are the precautions are there, that all we must have to follow. In this chapter you have learned especially about land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife. Okay students, read this chapter properly, go through the textbook, read carefully and keep your mind, and learn what are the some questions are there in material, that all questions will learn carefully. Use your mind and write carefully. If any doubt is there, you come interaction section and discuss with me. Okay, bye students.